Hi friends! Today I'm going to read the book Moonbeam Bear by Rolf Wenger and Ulrich Moltke. Moonbeam Bear loved to watch the moon. For 7 years he spent every morning in front of his house, watching the moon making its way across the sky. Sometimes he stayed up until long after midnight. That's very late. He knew exactly how many days it took for the moon to wax and wane and become full. He knew the moon's route across the sky, from the old barn to the hill with the 3 trees, and he knew by heart which stars the moon would meet on its way. The moon was his best friend. Moonbeam Bear wished he could get closer to the moon. Once he climbed to the top of a very tall ladder and stretched out his paw, but the moon was too far away, and Moonbeam Bear almost fell flat on his nose. At the edge of the lake he thought he could touch the moon, but he quickly learned that what he saw was only the reflection of the moon in the water. Nights when there was a new moon were especially hard because the whole world was completely dark, and Moonbeam Bear missed his friend terribly. One night, when the moon had waned and gotten very, very thin, he had an idea. Moonbeam Bear hid in the old barn and waited for the moon to poke its nose over the horizon. As soon as it did, he tossed out a long lasso and pulled the moon down from the night sky. The other animals were a little surprised about the total darkness that night, but they thought it was just a new moon and went to bed early. When the moon didn't rise on the following night, they were concerned, and by the 3rd night they decided to call a meeting. "The moon has disappeared," said Wise Crow. "Has anyone seen it? Does anyone have any clues?" "Come to think of it," said Rabbit, 3 nights ago I saw a bright yellow glow coming from Farmer Jones's barn. I'll bet you he stole the moon." "What a rat!" shouted the animals. "If it's true," said Wise Crow, "it's up to us to set the moon free." "But it's so dark outside," whimpered Lark. We can light the way," said the glowworms, joining together to form a beautiful shape in the sky. Soon they were on their way. Woodpecker was in the lead, banging on his drum. Behind him were Wise Crow, Old Badger, Rabbit, and at the end, Mother Duck with her 13 ducklings. Lark and the glowworms flew overhead. When they arrived at Farmer Jones's house, they stood in a semicircle in front of his door. Woodpecker sounded a drum roll, and all together the animals shouted, "You are surrounded! Give the moon back immediately!" At first nothing happened. Then they could hear Farmer Jones shuffling through the house. "What's going on?" he asked when he opened the door. "You stole the moon. Rabbit saw you hiding it in your barn. Admit it." Farmer Jones laughed. "The light Rabbit saw must have been my new flashlight. It does shine almost as brightly as the moon." "It sure does," said the animals, covering up their eyes. "But if you didn't steal the moon," asked Crow, "who did?" "I don't know," said Farmer Jones. "But I'll help you look. Follow me." Although Farmer Jones's new flashlight was nearly as bright as the moon, its light didn't last very long. Soon it started to flicker, and then it went out completely. "Modern junk," grumbled Farmer Jones, and he asked the glowworms to shine a little brighter. They were happy to oblige. But just as the group reached the old barn, the glowworms got very tired and fell asleep in the grass. "What do we do now?" grumbled Farmer Jones. "Look, look!" shouted the ducklings, jumping up and down. "We see something bright over there." "But, little ones, that's Moonbeam Bear's house. Maybe he has a new flashlight." "I don't think so," said Farmer Jones. "Something else is behind that light. Follow me." So they marched over to Moonbeam Bear's house. When they opened the door, they all gasped. There was Moonbeam Bear with his arm around the moon. The duckling started to giggle, and soon everyone was laughing so hard that Moonbeam Bear put his finger to his lips and said, "Shh, I'm trying to read the moon to sleep. If he doesn't get enough sleep, he won't shine as brightly tomorrow." "Wait a minute," said Mother Duck. "The moon belongs in the sky where all of us can see him. You can't just keep him here." "But it's no fun to read alone and sleep alone," said Moonbeam Bear. "The moon is my best friend. You're all welcome to come and visit, and any time you like." "I'm sorry," said Crow, "but there are many animals and people who love the moon. Please put him back where he belongs." Then Moonbeam Bear had a great idea. "All right," he said, "I'll put him back, but only if once a month when there's a new moon and it's dark anyway, the moon can come down and visit me." "I think that's a fine idea," said Farmer Jones. All the animals nodded in agreement. So Moonbeam Bear carried the moon back to the spot behind the 3 trees and carefully put him back in the night sky. "Goodbye, friend," said Moonbeam Bear softly. "I'll see you again soon." Ever since that night, Moonbeam Bear watches his friend as he moves across the sky and carefully calculates how long it will be until the moon can come down to visit again. Sometimes Farmer Jones comes by and Moonbeam Bear tells him all about the waning moon, the waxing moon, the stars and the planets, and all the amazing things you can see in the night sky. Farmer Jones just loves those stories. The end.